Hey everybody, Dylan here, and welcome to a Raw review of last week's Raw. So yeah, I know the last thing I said was like, oh, some PLE will be uploaded. That will be uploaded, just give it time. It's been a busy time for wrestling, but right now we're going to focus on the June 30th, 2025 review of Monday Night Raw. Starts off with a recap of the Night of Champions, which, by the way, just to plug that for one more time, that review will be up soon. I don't know when soon is, but expect it sometime throughout this week. After that, everybody arrives, and they show the arena for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Michael Cole and Corey Graves are on commentary, I think for the foreseeable future until football time's over with. Pat McAfee is gone from commentary. If the mic moves any, by the way, Pumpkin is like going head deep into this mic stand. I don't know why. Rhea Ripley comes out to start off the show. She says that the Judgment Day stuff's behind her, hopefully, and it's hopefully for good this time. And then she asks, well, what's next for Rhea? She's abruptly cut off by the women's champion, Io Sky. Io says that you can't have Evolution without Io Sky. Io Sky says without that title, Rhea is not on top like she claims she is, but since Io has, from Adam Pearce, the right to choose who she can defend it at against Evolution, she said that she chooses to defend it against Rhea Ripley because she wants to challenge the best. Rhea says that she respects her, and if that's what she wants, then she's going to stop at nothing to get her title back. And whatever happens at Evolution, that's what Io wanted, and she accepts. Kind of hinting at maybe a heel turn? That'd be interesting. Something that this character kind of needs, so I'll be down for it if that's what happens. We then go to the clubhouse where all the boys are talking, but as soon as JD and Finn leave, AJ Styles comes up to Dom. By the way, they're not in the clubhouse. A retraction of that statement. They are in a random hallway. Dom immediately pulls out a doctor's note and shows it to AJ, saying that he's not cleared in case old man can't read, according to him. And that Pierce says that if AJ lays a hand on Dom, that he'll lose his title shot for when he is cleared. AJ pulls out glasses to read it, pulling out the glasses because Dom called him like old man, said he needed to use his reading glasses. And then he says, yeah, I see on this letter it says that you're a punk ass. It popped me pretty good. They verbally get into it for a second, and then we get the JD's, Finn and JD McDonough against the New Day for the World Tag Team titles, where the Judgment Day ends up winning, and thanks to some distractions, I think it's Dom distracts them or something like that, JD hits a I wrote down sling blade. I think I meant slingshot blade. Is that what it's called? It's called a sling blade. There we go. I was right to begin with. And then Finn hits the coup de grace. Yeah, I'm saying it wrong intentionally. For the win. And we have new champions to start off the show. I think that was the first match of the night. Speaking of title-related things, they highlight Bayley versus Becky for the IC title, which happened last week. No spoilers on that. I'll have that review up probably next week. Maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me. I'll have it up eventually, point taken. Bayley then has an interview asking about where her focus is, and she says that just because, semi-spoiler, Lyra got involved in her match last week doesn't mean that she doesn't want the title back, even though she hasn't had that title. I think she meant title shot back. Anyway, Lyra comes by and then gets in a verbal confrontation with Bayley until Pierce comes by saying that he thought that it would go this way, so they'll have a one-on-one later on tonight to determine who the new number one contender is. We come back after that to a Goldberg hype package, which I just got shouted out because, by the way, a spoiler alert, last week, so 2 weeks ago from today, Goldberg said that he would have his return on Saturday night's main event, and he's going after Gunther for his World Heavyweight Championship, which, by the way, Gunther's the World Heavyweight Champion. He won it the week before, so 3 weeks ago, on a random episode of Raw. He won it back from Jay. And Goldberg said he's going to retire as the champion or something like that. I may be putting words into his mouth. But anyway, I just said all that to say shout out to Goldberg for getting 3 days grace to freaking give him a literal montage, like something that we would have done on YouTube back in the 2010s. Shout out to Goldberg for getting that license on a WWE product. After that, we get a recap of what Penta did to Chad Gable last week. No spoilers, but semi-spoilers considering the segment coming up. Gable then talks to American Made about the injury that happens. Oh, there's your spoiler. My bad. Talks about the injury that happened, and then Pierce comes in and asks if that means El Grande Americano will be gone now. He said, "You never know." He then tells Ivy to go after Vakir, and the Creed brothers go after the tag team titles while he's gone, and to listen to Ivy. After that, we get Rusev versus Sheamus, and I've never been more excited for a match before in my life. Oh my goodness, they're going to beat the shit out of each other, because they do beat the shit out of each other. Before we get into that match, though, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis are talking backstage. The Judgment Day's Finn and JD show up. Not the group, the guy. Haha, bring that bit back. And then they suggest for the World Tag Team Champions that Raquel should just find a new tag team partner. And then he says, "Oh, hey, you mean like Roxanne?" That was their way of casually saying that they should just keep the titles. The two GMs talk about it for a second, and then they say that they get the titles on one condition, and it's that if they can beat the best of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT at Evolution. Nick Aldis tries to be friendly to Priest after the Judgment Day leaves, saying, "See, we can work on the same page." And Priest hostily leaves. He's like, just give it time. Anyways, after that, we go back to the match where, again, they just beat the fuck out of each other. You know how you know that? Because the ending is Rusev thumbing Sheamus in the eye on top rope, and then he pulls Sheamus into a turnbuckle pad that he exposed. Well, there's no pad. He just pulls him into the turnbuckle that he exposed, I should say. And he pulls him in sternum first into it, and then gives him a Machka kick to the head to win. Somehow that wasn't a DQ, though. That's my only gripe with this match. But other than that, 10 out of 10. Greatest match of all time. After that, we get a pre-recording of Nick and Adam talking again. They talk about how there's going to be a battle royal at Evolution to see who goes to Clash at Paris for a title shot. After that, we go backstage where American Made is asked how they're going to work without their great leader. Ivy says that it'll be hard, but she's going to start by entering in that battle royal. They stop talking because the healthy El Grande Americana shows into shot, which is totally not somebody else. Oh my goodness. They're all in shock and have no comment about it. After that, they all kind of just go their own way, and Jackie tries to find Sammy to interview to take up the rest of the time, and because she casually finds him backstage. And she tries to interview him, but Cross ends up taking him out, uses a pipe, and just... what's opposite? Okay, so if you crane somebody, it's for their dome. So whatever you would call that for the ribs, he just like whams him with it. And they are separated by, well, I say they, but in reality, Cross is pulled back by referees and security. And Sammy's just checked on by medical. Gunther comes out to talk about Goldberg. He talks up Goldberg about how he's not afraid of him, and he's not afraid of what's left of Bill Goldberg, and he knows what he is. He knows that Goldberg will not take the title away from him, but he knows that he can beat him in under 3 minutes. That, however, is not his goal. He wants to take his time and embarrass him to everyone that's near and dear to him in Atlanta. He says that he's going to expose that Bill never had it, and somewhere deep in Calgary you can hear Bret Hart pop louder than anybody else in that arena saying, yeah, I told you Bill Goldberg fucking sucks. Shout out to Bret. He asks then who's next for Gunther, and then Seth comes out with a Paul Heyman, but none of the other Dangerous Alliance 2.0, as I coined them. Gunther calls out how they traveled very far to achieve nothing at Night of Champions. Again, that review's coming later. You be patient, okay? What about you? You want that review, Pumpkin? Do you want that review? Come on, speak into the microphone. Do you want that review? Okay, I guess no comment. I guess you don't want that review, so y'all ain't getting it, sorry. But anyway, he says that, and then Seth says that they're here to congratulate him, that Seth wasn't going to cash in on Cena. He just wanted to screw Punk out of a title opportunity, and he's going to give Gunther a heads up that he's coming for both championships. Punk's music plays to cut him off, and he runs after Rollins, who blinds him in the eye with a thumb poke, and then he runs through the crowd. Punk is leaving the arena after saying, like, "What? Come down here, coward." But Gunther turns him around, and then Punk just shoves him over, warns him to stay out of his business. Seth is posing in the crowd, and right behind him you can very faintly see LA Knight just eating some popcorn. Yeah. He screams out, "Yeah," as loud as possible, and then hits him over the head with the popcorn. They brawl through the arena, where it's like the back part of the arena where the crowd's just waiting to get into the arena for some reason. I guess there was a lot of concessions. But yeah, they brawl away that. Seth ends up running away, and all you see is LA Knight just staring him down. After that, we go to the official clubhouse, where Raquel objects to replacing Liv as for anybody, but she means Raquel. Or excuse me, Raquel isn't. She means Roxanne. Finn says that that's not the case. She just wanted her to keep the gold, kind of giving her a false sense of like, oh, Liv can have it back, even though he never verbally said that. They vote to see if Roxanne's in, and Finn pressures Dom into saying yes, so Raquel just reluctantly agreed, but you never heard her verbally say yes or no. So Raquel and Roxanne are the new tag team champions, starting a new reign for the Judgment Day. After that, we get Bayley versus Lyra for the number one contendership, where before that happens, Kairi Sane has a hype package about what she's done and that she's coming for the gold, sucker. After that, the match ends up being about 15 minutes, give or take, long, so pretty good length. Lyra tries to do some roll-throughs. Bayley ends up reversing them, and on the final one, Lyra tries to reverse again, but Bayley kind of, sort of counters it. They both have their shoulders down. They both get counted to 3, so it's a draw. And I get why they did it, but I'm not happy with that outcome. I hate draws with a burning passion. Bayley and Lyra both beat the fuck out of each other after the match until security separates them two. They plug the new match of LA Knight versus Seth Rollins for Saturday night's main event, and then Jackie Redwood interviews Punk. Punk ends up calling out Rollins and anybody else who gets in his way. Punk sees LA Knight backstage, and he says, speaking of one of them, he tells him to get to the back of the line when it comes to Seth. Knight ends up holding his ground, honestly, against Punk in this verbal confrontation, and he says that he's the front of the line and that Punk needs to get to the back of the line. Yeah. After that, we see Sammy getting taped up, and Penta asks if he's sure he wants to do this match. Sammy gets up and grunts in pain, and then fist bumps Penta. Then we get Sammy and Penta against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. By the way, where the hell were they earlier? Also, somehow throughout this match, Sammy ends up holding his own for the whole 15-minute match. I know, technically parts of that, there was a tag in for Mr. Penta, but you know what I'm saying. How did he not get squashed like a bug? However, he does end up eating the spear for whatever it's worth to lose this match. After the match, Penta's checking on his partner, and then Bronson's behind Penta. He's getting ready for the spear, and Reed slowly gets back into the ring. Penta starts to realize what's going on. He turns around and then eats a spear. They're about to give Sammy a tsunami, but Jey Uso comes out with a chair. He evens the odds. He clears out the ring. He ends up sabooing Bronson Reed with a chair, which I pop for. 10 out of 10. Please keep that a thing. And yeah, that's how we end the show, with the three of them standing tall over the freaking Dangerous Alliance 2.0. So yeah, I get why they do it. They want to send the crowd home happy, yada yada, sing sing. But come on, they're supposed to be, even though I'm the only one calling them a Dangerous Alliance, they're supposed to be like these dangerous badasses. They can't constantly keep on getting beaten up by the good guys. We gotta have some bad endings every now and then. Either way, ignoring the rant from me that just came up there, I did actually enjoy this show. Great show to come back to. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, subscribe. If you like hearing my voice, I appreciate it.